All right, now look at the tempo, guys. So at the top of the movement, squeeze and hold it for a 1 count. Hey guys, Mark McKillop with Live Anabolic. And today I have a fantastic back workout for you. So a lot of guys think that you have to go to the gym to get a really serious, intense back workout in. Because at the gym, there are some fantastic machines, designed specifically just to work your back. But I put together 4 exercises that you guys are gonna love, and they are super effective at giving you a great pump and building a big back. So guys, before I get into the exercises, let's just talk about our back. I would say it is one of the more neglected muscle groups for guys, and it's because you can't see it. You know, you're looking in the mirror all the time, right? You can see your chest, and you can see your arms and your abs and all that kind of stuff. You can even see your shoulders, but you just can't see your back. Well, the back is a fantastic, great looking muscle group. Women love great backs. The other thing is, if you build a big, wide back, all right, it's gonna make your waist look smaller, all right? So even if you're carrying extra fat around your waist, building a big back will just naturally make it look like you have a smaller waist, all right? It'll make it look like you're losing fat around your stomach, even though you haven't. So, you know, that V taper that you see with guys wearing a shirt, you can tell, all right? They don't have to have their shirt off. You don't have to be by the pool, or you don't have to be outside jogging in the summertime. You can just walk into a room, all right? And as long as your shirt is tucked in, you can tell a guy with wide shoulders, a big back, and no matter how much fat he has around his stomach, he's still gonna have a really impressive looking V taper. And that's what, you know, that's what's so eye-catching. That's what really looks or makes your physique look so impressive. So 4 exercises for you guys today. All you need are dumbbells and some resistance bands. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need to have to spend any time commuting back and forth, all right? But before I get to that, I just want to quickly mention that we have a phenomenal Facebook group. Click the link below this video and ask to join, okay? We have over 15,000 members. I'm the moderator. I'm answering questions. Everybody else is chipping in. I promise you guys are gonna love it. Even if you hate Facebook, even if you don't have a Facebook profile, I don't care. Just join. You don't have to participate in Facebook itself. Just hang out in this one little group with us, because we have the best fitness group on the entire internet on Facebook. I promise you guys will appreciate it. All right, so guys, the back is impressive, but you got to do lots of different exercises where you hit the muscles from a lot of different angles, because your back is comprised of 17 different muscle groups. And it's a real complex area on our body, because a lot of these muscles are layered over and under and behind and everything. There's, you know, sometimes it's 3 or 4 muscles deep. So I'm going to give you 4 different exercises that all put emphasis on slightly different areas of the back, okay? Because we want to build the width, but we also want to build the thickness, all right, of our back. And that requires a bunch of different exercises. So the first one we're going to do is bent over dumbbell rows. Now guys, you can do them either with 2 dumbbells simultaneously or just 1. I'm gonna show you how to do basically 1-arm dumbbell rows. And this is a pretty strong muscle group. You're using a lot of muscles, all right, to lift this dumbbell. And so a bunch of you guys can lift a lot of weight. If I was at the gym doing this, I could probably use 80 or 90 pounds, all right? At home, I don't have that much weight. And of course, just for demonstration purposes, I'm not going all that heavy. But if you have some really heavy dumbbells, this is the time to use them, guys. All right, so a lot of weight can be done because it's a big, strong muscle group. But at the same time, if you don't use good form, you can actually tweak a muscle in your lower back. This is how to avoid that. All right, I'm gonna do right-handed. I'm gonna start off with my right arm first, okay? So what I'm gonna do is brace my entire upper body, my entire torso, with my left arm on my left knee. And that is gonna basically help distribute the weight and take a lot of the tension off my lower back. So a lot of the weight is over here on my left side, all right? And I'm just gonna, real good form. I'm rowing, I'm not yanking, guys. And focus on bringing your elbow up and back towards your hip. That's the mind-muscle connection I want you to feel. Don't worry about lifting the dumbbell. I want you to just concentrate on lifting your elbow. And if you don't have a real heavy weight, all right, this is what I want you to do, because doing 10 reps with a light weight is not going to really get that muscle, all right, pumped. So this is what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to make that weight feel artificially heavier than it really is. And this is how you do it. 1, 2, 3, slow down. 1, 2, 3, slow down. So you lift it up as high as you can get your elbow, and then hold it for a 3 count, and then slowly lower it. So we're gonna do 10 to 15 on both sides. So if you have a pretty heavy dumbbell, you can actually get away with just doing 10 reps, so long as, you know, once you get near the 10th rep, you're near failure, okay? If your dumbbells aren't very heavy and you get to 10 and you're like, okay, man, I'm not even tired yet, knock out 15 reps instead, in addition to holding the weight at the top. So we just switch sides, right arm on my right knee, I bend over, and I start rolling with my left hand, okay? Once again, I'm mentally thinking about lifting my elbow up to my hip, all right? I'm not bringing it straight up to my chest, all right? Don't do this. You wanna bring your elbow back and to your side. And then try to lower it all the way down and get that full stretch. So 10 on each side, and that is bent over dumbbell rows. All right, so the next 3 exercises, guys, are all gonna be with bands, all right? So the very first one is gonna be a lat pull down with our anchor up at a high point, okay, as high as you can get it. Now, you're gonna be able to do a lot of weight here, a lot of resistance with bands, because once again, you're using a lot of different muscles in your back at the same time, and it's a really strong group of muscles, all right? So you'll be able to use multiple bands and experiment, all right? Because I do want you to use enough band resistance that by the time you get to the 10th rep, you're getting really fatigued. I mean, you're having to struggle to get to 10. If you get to 10 and you know in your heart you could have done another 5 or 10 more, you didn't use enough bands. Now, because of that, that's a lot of tension we're pulling down with. So guys, be sure your anchor is secure. All right, be careful when you're putting this into a door, all right, that it can't just accidentally open, because that thing will come down and smack you in the face. Now, I have, you know, a lock up here that helps with that, all right? If you guys don't have that, you can put the anchor over here near the hinges on your door, okay? When you put it on this part of the door and not on the outside of the door, okay, then it's way, way stronger and there's less chance it's gonna force the door open. So the further away from the hinges you get with your anchor, the more potentially dangerous it can become. Now, I'm okay with this because I have this lock to secure it. But if I didn't have this lock here, see how much flex in the top of my door there is? I don't know if you can see that in the camera there. See how that's coming? All right. And it could possibly pull hard enough that the anchor yanks out and hits me. But when I do that, it has no play. But if I didn't have this extra lock, I could slide this over here, and when you pull on it, the door wouldn't move at all, okay? So the closer you put your anchor to the hinge, the stronger and safer it is. And in my case, I can do it over here in the middle, all right, because I got this extra little lock here. All right, so once again, multiple bands. In reality, if I was doing this, you know, for a killer hard workout, I'd probably put at least 2 more bands on here because it's a real strong muscle group. All right, this is how I want you guys to do lat pull downs. So you're gonna get on the floor, and I want you to feel that there's some tension already in these bands. When your hands are up at the starting position, if you're sitting real close to the door, i.e. the anchor point, see how loose it is? There's no tension, all right? So the first part of my movement, there's almost no resistance, all right? So scooch further away from the door so that now I can feel there's already tension at the very beginning of my movement. And I'm just gonna keep my butt here, and I'm gonna be staring up at the band basically with my head. and I'm just gonna try to pull my elbows down and behind me. All right, and then control the bands on the eccentric part, okay? So this is the concentric when you're squeezing your muscles, and when you're letting the handles go back, that's called the eccentric part of the movement. And guys, you gotta pick enough band resistance here to make this tough, okay? Knock out a good 10 to 12 reps. And at the bottom of the movement, I'm focusing on bringing my elbows down and behind my back as far as I can. You can really, I can feel my back muscles squeezing at the bottom of the movement down there. So 10 to 12 of those. And if you do 10 to 12 and you think, oh man, that really wasn't all that hard, get up. The next set, I want you to add some more resistance bands. All right, guys, exercise number 3 is called a straight arm pull down. That previous one was a lat pull down. Very similar, okay, but different. So now this one, you're not gonna be able to use as much resistance. Even though, yes, it's a back exercise, we're not using as many of the muscle groups in our back, all right? We're using much smaller muscles that are kind of right here under your armpit, the teres minor and the teres major, okay, or some of those muscles. So this is how I want you to do this, all right? Remember, less resistance. You're gonna come away from the door or come away from the anchor point so that there's already a little bit of tension, all right? So I want you to just stick your butt out, keep your back straight, and basically I want you to just lean forward, okay? And then this is how we do the movement, straight arm pull down. So we're gonna keep our arms pretty straight, and we're just gonna pull the handles down to our thighs and then slowly back up. So guys, pay attention to how hard this is, because I want you to be really struggling by the time you get to the 10th rep. And if you're not struggling, if it's still relatively easy, I want you to knock out another 5 reps. And then after this set is done, get back up, all right? And then add another band before you do your next set. So once again, intensity on all of these exercises is critical. If you just kind of go through the motion and just do the exercises, you will get benefit. You will see gains, you'll see progress, but nothing like you are gonna see if you really push yourself on every single set, meaning every single set is tough to complete to the prescribed number of reps that I'm telling you guys. All right, so our 4th and last exercise today is banded rows. Now, the very first exercise we did was also a row. It was a dumbbell bent over row. So yes, we are targeting more or less the same muscle groups in our back. Because remember, it's a lot of muscles that are getting involved. But we're hitting those muscles from a different angle with a different exercise. And that's what I really like to do when I'm creating my workouts. If any of you guys have done my Fit After 50 program, you'll know tons of different exercises. Even though a lot of them are targeting the same muscle groups, I really want to hit those muscles from different angles, which will give you way more muscle growth. All right, so in this case, I want you to put the anchor down at the low end of the door. Okay, so this is called a low anchor. All right, so once again, I've already checked it. It's nice and secure because I had to add bands. You guys are going to probably able to do maybe all 5 bands that come in a typical set. So make sure that anchor is not going to pull out of that door when you're doing this. All right, here we go. Of course, it goes without saying that you need to make sure that you have equal length bands on both sides of your anchor strap, okay? Now, just like all the other ones, if you stand too close to the anchor, there's no tension, all right, at the very beginning of the movement, and you don't want that. Plus, there's not enough tension at the top of the movement. So I'm gonna pre-stretch these bands by moving away from the door, and there's already a fair amount of tension here, okay? Now, the other thing is I'm not standing up like this. I gotta bend over, okay? Stick your butt out, all right? And now I'm just gonna stare at the anchor, and I'm gonna pull my elbows back. Very similar to these other exercises where I tell you, don't focus on the handles, all right? Really focus on where your elbows are going. Because if you get the elbows going in the right spot, then the hands and the handles and the bands are gonna just come along for the ride. All right, now look at the tempo, guys. So at the top of the movement, squeeze and hold it for a 1 count. And if this is too easy for you when you get to that 10th or 12th rep, keep going until the muscles feel fatigued, then stop. That's the end of the set, and then add more resistance bands before you do your next set. All right, so 4 great exercises. I promise you guys can build a great back. Now, I'm gonna take you back over here to my picture real quick here. Now, this was from 10 years ago. I was 49 years old, and this was at a contest I did. And once again, I enjoy doing back. I can actually feel a big pump going. And I think I'm in the minority in that even though I can't see my back in the mirror, I know that it's a really good looking muscle group. And if I build a big back, everything else will look that much better. So guys, building a back is really important, not just for looks and for aesthetics, but also for basically your stability control, and it will help prevent you from getting back injuries, okay, as you get older. So do not neglect backs, guys. I promise it's more important than you might think. And once again, just like always, you got to stick with it and never give up on yourself.